Hello. Well, yesterday I would have probably been advocating that we all go to the nursery and buy lots of plants while maintaining a safe distance. But today, of course, nurseries all around the country are closing. Some of them will still do a bit of mail order, but a lot of them won't be doing anything at all. So I'm going to do a couple of little videos about how to get plants for free from your own garden. And this is the perfect time of year to be dividing plants. Hello, Minnie. Grasses in particular, most grasses that can be divided need to be divided in spring, not in autumn. And one of those is Miscanthus. It's a good clump forming grass, very easy to split. You can chop it up with either a spade, or you can split it with a fork, and I'll show you the technique in a moment. And you'll find that there are plants all through your garden that can be divided. The sort of perennial plants, by which I mean not woody plants like this. It's a woody plant. Perennial plant is, or a herbaceous perennial plant is one that dies down in winter, comes back up again in spring. So let's have a look at this Miscanthus, see how easy it is to get out of the ground now that I've said it's easy to do. Made a rod for my hand back. And you just work round the base of the, oh, I just realised I've got my trainers on. That's not very garden-y, is it? Shall I start again?
No.
Okay. You sure? I don't want people to think I garden in trainers.
They're not very cool trainers.
What? They're my volleyball trainers. Right. Then this is the kind of classical technique. To use back-to-back forks. And you push them into the centre of the clump, like that. Now I'm really worried about my trainers. I wouldn't think that through at all. I used to have a stylist and all that sort of stuff. You can see you're supposed to get them right into the clump and then push back to back to sort of tease the clump apart. Now, as you can see, it's not actually that easy because the clump is so densely packed. So option 2, which is what I'm going to do, nice sharp spade, looks brutal. Here we go. And you can see from this one clump I'll make 4 new plants. And there's lots of lovely strong growth there, good root system. And the best thing to do with that is get it straight into the ground as fast as possible. There you go, division. Really easy. Plants for free. Hello. Well, earlier on I showed you how to divide herbaceous perennials. I also revealed the secret shame that is my volleyball trainers, which I genuinely don't garden in, but apparently I do now. And in shock and horror, my wife has now disappeared, and we now have my son Dylan on camera. Hello, Dylan.
Hi.
Right, okay, so I'm going to show you another technique. Layering. Now, layering is something that is applicable for woody plants, so shrubs. This is a willow, a lovely willow, Salix alba britsensis, which has these magnificent, colourful stems. Look at that. But this is the time of year when you have to cut these stems down, in this case to a kind of leg-like structure, and so that it can produce those colourful stems for the following year. So there's 2 techniques that you can do to propagate these. First one, layering. Very simple. Dylan, you might need to come in a little bit for this. So I take my sharp knife and I'm just taking away a tiny bit of the bark and exposing, you see that? Just exposing a tiny bit of the xylem and phloem beneath. And that's all you need to do, is just a little skim like that. And then you just bend the stem down, put it onto the ground. If your soil's pretty good, you don't need to do anything more than just bend it onto the ground. If your soil's not that good, you've got 2 options. You can actually pin the stem down into, oh, a spider on me, hello. You can either pin it down into a tray of compost or improve the soil around the stem. Pin it down, the couple of bent over bits of wire like that. If you don't have any wire, a wire coat hanger, that will be fine. A little bit of soil over the top, and then what will happen is that will start to root fairly quickly, and once it has rooted you can then basically sever the stem further back and take the whole thing out of the ground and carefully pot it on, and you've got another plant, and you just trim that bit off there. That will start rooting in no time at all. I mean, it really is quite incredible, especially with something like willow, which is quite vigorous. But you can also do these with things like this technique with cornus, camellia. There's a whole range of plants, Philadelphus, Forsythia, all sorts of plants that will actually layer naturally. You can do this technique. Now, just come back to these stems for a minute, these lovely stems that I've cut off. Willow famously will strike as cuttings, you know, just by sticking it in the ground. Pop. But if you've got willow stems like this, you can also pop them in a pot. Here's one I did last year, still haven't managed to plant it. I mean, look at the root growth on that. It'll really fly away very, very quickly. And you really can just stick them in the ground. So there you go, more plants for free. And we'll come back to some more plants for free. We'll come back for some more plants for free later on with some seed sowing and some other bits and pieces. And don't forget, you know, leave comments and stuff below, and I'll try and do as many of these as I can. Toodle pip.
Bye.